AUTOSAR. Explained by Annette Kempf.
Welcome for another session on AUTOSAR Classic. We are again here on the webpage of AUTOSAR under Standards Classic Platform. And today is the last session. So we covered everything from microcontroller, basic software, runtime environment. And today we'll have a look at the application layer. The application layer looks very small, although the functionality, the main content is in the application layer. The reason for this is that the application layer is very, very specific. So there are only certain rules described and structural information, but it's not a detailed specification on how to implement it. So within the basic software, we saw descriptions on how to implement and which function interfaces to provide. This is not the case in the application layer because this lies more or less in the responsibility of the creator of these electronic control units and the content. And this is the differentiating content which makes innovation and implementation specific. And the reason for introducing AUTOSAR was especially for the basic software that it was not seen as differentiating that much, so that it could be specified for the whole industry as an all. So this is not the case for the application layer. The application layer is highly specific. Of course, for certain domains and certain descriptions, but it's a different approach. Again, if you click on application layer, you will get to a page which is giving you the specifications. And here you see that it's not the specification that much, it's the requirements and it's explanation of application interfaces of body and comfort domain. This is one domain. Exploration and application interfaces of a chassis domain, of HMI, multimedia and telematics, of the interfaces for occupant and pedestrian safety systems domain, application interfaces of a powertrain engine domain. Then some user guides, again, application interface for ADS vehicle motion control. Then this part, XML specification, deals with the structure of the implementation interfaces. Then there are examples. And there is also a guideline to model the software components. So SVC is short for software components and system modeling guideline. We'll just have a look at one of the application interfaces description, but just a short sneak peek. And I chose powertrain because I have my home and most experience in powertrain myself. And it's quite, you see, in comparison to other specifications we saw before, like, for example, for the ITE, which is big with 1,400 pages, this explanation of application interfaces is quite lean as a specification, not so many pages with 34. Of course, it's the history in the beginning, the disclaimer, and then we get to the content. It's related documentation, the terms and concepts, and then you have architecture overview, and you have software components, but it's just an example. So it's just giving you an example. It's not providing the clear specification, it's giving you an example and some additional information. What I like, maybe for me, it's explaining the terminology, for example, for the talk within the powertrain domain. And here the example is for e-mobility. It's with an electric machine. And combustion engine, so it's HEV or BEV when you leave this out. And here's the example with also the engine and the transmission and the differential. So here you have a view also on the car, on the components outside. Maybe if you didn't see it in the first place, it's for wheels. Yeah, it's the wheels, it's the differential, it's the components inside. So it's giving you an explanation on what is the powertrain domain about, but it will not give you an architecture of your application software and your software components. This every vendor has to define themselves or together with a customer, and it's a specific approach and solutions. So this is different in application software in comparison to basic software. We'll give you more information, like more formal one, within the Embedded Academy e-learning. So the sequence of this e-learning is provided to you next. What I have to say is it's a little bit older version, so some of the newer released things, especially in direction of autonomous driving, there might be things missing, but for the classic vehicle and for an understanding, I think it's very good information provided by this e-learning sequence. I hope you enjoy it, and I will be right back.
The application software layer realizes the application functionality. This layer is mostly hardware independent and consists of different software components. In AUTOSAR, an application is modeled as a composition of interconnected components. A component encapsulates complete or partial automotive functionality. Components consist of an implementation and of an associated formal software component description. In AUTOSAR, application software consists of application software components that are ECU and location independent, and sensor actuator software components that are dependent on ECU hardware and thus not readily relocatable for reasons of efficiency and performance. This means that, subject to constraints imposed by the system designer, an AUTOSAR software component can be deployed to any available ECU during system configuration. The runtime environment is then responsible for ensuring that components can communicate and that the system continues to function as expected wherever the components are deployed. AUTOSAR has standardized, stable and widely accepted application interfaces to ensure the interoperability of software components from different vendors. The application interfaces aim to cover a wide range of automotive domains. These domains are body and comfort, powertrain, chassis, occupant and pedestrian safety systems, and HMI, multimedia and telematics.
So I hope that it was interesting for you, and you enjoyed learning everything about AUTOSAR Classic within the previous months. We are at the end of the series, and of course, we're happy about comments, emails, wishes to know how to proceed and what to do next. Thank you for staying with us until the very end. I wish you a very nice day. Thank you and bye-bye.
If you want to learn more about AUTOSAR and other interesting topics, go to embedded-academy.com.